y'all, this is Phantom Phoenix here, and welcome to episode 17 of my Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century blind reaction. This episode is called The Man with the Twisted Lip. So we're dealing with someone that has cleft palate, is the disorder I'm thinking of, and if it's not fixed, it actually causes you to die. Yeah. So this is an extra special episode because this marks where we have 10 episodes left, including this one in this series. This is a milestone, people. It's also important because the next episode starts the second season. Yes, there were 2 seasons of this show, but only 2 because, yeah, I guess what is episode 27 is the last episode of this series as far as I know. I mean, I'll look to see if there's any more in case it's just like not on the playlist for whatever reason, but as far as I'm concerned, there's only 17 or 10 episodes more to go. So let's see what this very special episode has in store for us today. Apparently loading screens. A very foggy day in London, apparently.
Lois, darken the windows.
Okay.
I think the tension is getting to you, dear. Have you even eaten yet this morning?
There we
Breakfast.
go.
How I miss sitting down to a nice carefree breakfast. Will anything ever be carefree again?
Neville, please be honest. Is there any end in sight?
I've almost gathered enough, and then I'll be out from under.
What is it?
They're on to me. Whatever you do, don't involve the police. I love you, Lois.
Neville! Neville!
Hologram husband? What? What? I am now confused. Number 9.
Computer, direct incoming call to Watson Remote.
I have it.
Latest news. Chief Inspector Grayson raids empty room. Details on demand.
Phone interruptions, news interruptions. It's no wonder I can't play this thing. Proceed.
In an effort to clip the wings of the elusive mobsters known as the Night Ravens, Chief Inspector Grayson of New Scotland Yard stormed their suspected headquarters last night.
That's a
only to
pretty
find
sweet
they had
name.
already flown the coop.
Am I embarrassed? No. Angry and determined? Yes. Their days of stealing from this city are over.
The added heat has apparently...
Are you actually going to do anything? No, you're going to give it to Lestrade, aren't you?
38 days ago, and is presumed
You
missing.
never do anything,
In other
hun.
news, New
And I
London
don't
is
like
suffering its
that.
63rd day of unrelenting
I
fog.
like the Wonder
Weather
Woman
details
thing
on
of
demand.
News off.
generals should fight with
Maestro
their army.
on.
Kind of.
Holmes!
Maestro off.
That call was from a distraught woman by the name of Lois St. Clair. She's requesting our services. Her husband has vanished.
Ah, double mystery. Shall we go?
Yeah, in a hologram
Mystery,
effect.
Holmes. The disappearance
Is
of
her
her
husband
this
a
morning is but one.
hologram?
Yes. But
Is she
Lois St. Clair,
delusional?
being the wife of Neville St. Clair, who was unfortunate enough to have had his funeral 1 month ago, is quite another.
Indeed. How would you remember that?
It was an unsolved crime. I tend to take note of such as you know.
Allow me to get to the bottom of this one, Holmes. I dare say I'm up to the challenge.
All right, Watson. The ball is in your court. You shall lead and I shall follow. Let us see what you have learned.
Accessing police report. It states that Mr. St. Clair met a tragic fate 38 days ago on a moonlit night at the hands of an unknown assailant.
That is
man
nice to
there,
know.
with the scarred lip. He seemed very interested in us.
Just a panhandler looking for a handout. Let's go, shall we?
Oh, that's a scarlet.
My husband's funeral was faked, Mr. Holmes. He's been in hiding for over a month.
I suspected as much. The police report documents a moonlit night 38 days ago. However, we've had unrelenting fog for 63 straight days.
Very perceptive, Watson. That discrepancy eliminates any possibility that the report was legitimate.
So how do you know he has vanished, Mrs. Sinclair?
This transpired at 7 this morning.
I've almost gathered enough, and then I'll be out from under. They're on to me. Whatever you do, don't involve the police.
Oh, that's...
I love you, Lois.
It was a message from her husband.
Into your home as a hologram. But why? Was he in hiding because of a gambling debt, Mrs. Sinclair?
Yes, but my husband was an upstanding investment banker, Dr. Watson. He didn't defraud anyone.
I'm terribly sorry, madam, but his aversion to involving the police suggests illegal activity. Combined with his efforts to gather enough and to get out from under, I'm led to believe it's regarding a debt. And thereon, to me, suggests his creditors had found him out.
You're very astute. He did gamble, and he did get behind. So he faked his demise 38 days ago, then went into hiding until he could find the money to pay what he owed. But we didn't fool the mobsters he owed money to.
Take heart, dear lady. By tracking down those debts, we shall find your husband.
So we get Al Capone involved?
I'd like to study the memory buffer in your holophone, Mrs. Sinclair.
By all means.
Hey, wasn't that guy showed earlier? Was he like wanted or something? I can't remember. But he was showed earlier, so he's important. I figured something out. There was a dude that was showed in that picture that was obviously
important. I have taken over your spot in this case. Rather successfully, I might add.
I envy no one, Watson. It wastes energy and is not productive. Now, on to Baker Street.
Hey, I like that. Envy no one. Waste energy and is not productive. I like that. That's a good line right there.
Again, sound only.
Yes. I've almost gathered enough, and then I'll be out from under.
Stop. Omit voice, amplify and replay. I have found your hiding place, Mr. Sinclair.
It sounded like a dock of some sort, because I heard a foghorn. Yeah.
I say, Holmes.
It's like, please don't try and kidnap me like that. You'll give my seconds a heart attack.
Rather a likely place to meet, isn't it?
On the contrary, Watson, it is the most likely. See there, I detected sounds on the holo program of both the river and the monorail.
But the monorail crosses the river a total of 8 times in New London.
Yes, Watson, but we can eliminate the others. Remember that Neville's last call came at 7 in the morning. This is the only location where it crosses at that hour. Answers await us in a riverfront room with a broken door. And speaking of answers, Watson, how is your investigation faring?
I've disproven my own theory. I have found no records of Neville St. Clair ever having been employed as an investment banker anywhere in the city.
And his gambling debts?
None. Not even an IOU. And regardless of what Mrs. Sinclair believes, they are financially fit. She has been fooled just as I have been.
Well, it was a very reasonable theory, Watson. By eliminating it, you have furthered our case.
There you go, once you eliminate the possible, whatever remains.
Neville's holophone projector.
Kicked to pieces by his abductors. Watson, take careful stock of this room.
No fear of starving in this flat.
What do you deduce by this candle, Watson?
The man was obviously forced to use it for illumination.
Well, its lack of a holder and these electric lights suggest it served some other purpose.
An antique retractable clothesline. However, there is no hook to secure the clothesline to. Very odd.
Scuff marks on the sill from dark-soled shoes. Fallen pocket change. A waxy substance. Perhaps makeup.
If it weren't for this fog, my telephotoscope would no doubt detect fallen coins, also on the bank below, indicating poor Neville was thrown into the Thames.
Yes, that is a possible explanation.
Well then, I believe I've solved it, Holmes. Let's just go down and wrap up any loose ends. Aren't you coming?
The answers I seek are perhaps still in this room, or soon will be.
As expected, more coins. And the watery fate of Neville St. Clair, poor chap.
Unless he committed suicide.
Returning to the scene of the crime, are you? Stop!
What are those foreign coins for?
Stop him, Watson!
What? You're the man with the twisted lip.
And probably also Neville Sinclair. Oh, doing a little Back to the Future. Oh crap. That's not good. I mean, Watson may be a robot, but it's still not pleasant. Oh no! Lestrade, help! No, I don't want to learn nursery rhymes with Mother Goose Club. Oh, okay. Sherlock somehow got a car and did a little Deus Ex Machina. Thanks for the Deus Ex Machina, Sherlock. I don't know how you got that.
Impeccable timing, Holmes.
Yeah, a little too good.
But perhaps I should take over the driving from here?
Nonsense! I've been practicing. See?
I've been practicing.
Now, if our quarry continues making sudden right turns, then we shall cut him off at the next corner.
Oh crap! They found me out! Ow! Ooh.
You banged him right
That's
into
gonna
New
hurt.
Scotland Yard.
Not quite the result I intended, but it will do.
But it works, right?
It seems as if he were heading directly here anyway.
To confess his crime? To turn in evidence? Who knows?
Initial
feels
scans
too
suggest this might
easy.
be Neville Sinclair's coat. In fact, his seems to be the only DNA on it, meaning this panhandler is somehow connected to Neville's homicide a month ago.
Holmes, she seems unaware that the month-old crime was faked and knows nothing of what happened this morning.
Has he made a
He
statement?
is
Lestrade?
Neville Sinclair.
None.
I don't know
Just
why,
calls himself
but
Bone, but
like-
we'll find out more when we run his prints and DNA.
I'm kind of confused with
British
exactly what
intelligence
he
officers?
wants.
Why are they here?
It's not for their intelligence, I can tell you that. They started poking around this morning on the Raven case.
Or perhaps the St. Clair case as well. Who else would have the resources to falsify a new Scotland Yard crime report?
Come again?
Neville St. Clair was alive until this very morning, Lestrade. His homicide of a month ago being but a clever ruse.
But now he's disappeared for certain.
Well, whatever and whenever it happened, Boone's involved either way.
And he seems of keen interest to our visiting branch of law enforcement.
We'll take him from here, officer. Come with us.
This mystery hints at greater
A
depths.
mob?
It's time I fill in
He's
some
like,
blanks.
oh crap. Oh, maybe he went in there to try and be safe from the mob that was tracking him down, but he couldn't get away from him. That's all I can think of. Oh, hey! Hi, DirecTV!
Mr. Holmes, is it true that a panhandler might know something about the fate of my Neville?
I think he knows exactly what happened to your husband, Mrs. St. Clair.
Because he is your husband.
Neville St. Clair was an imposter. He was not an investment banker, nor a gambler, but a high-ranking member of the Night Ravens. But
Nice.
for a more complete picture, I have combined the memory buffers from both holoprojectors. Begin program. Around us is a holographic depiction of the St. Clair living room. And here is Neville St. Clair as he appeared that morning.
Will anything ever be carefree again?
Pause. Notice that Neville is absently stroking a non-existent beard. Now, observe the poster he's looking at.
It's a theater poster. That actor looks familiar.
He should. Computer, run Neville Enhancement Program Alpha.
They're one and the same. Mr. Sinclair was an actor in his early years.
Better than you know. Computer, run Neville Enhancement Program Beta.
That's Zuber of the Night Ravens who disappeared last month.
38 days ago, to be exact. The very day of Neville's false demise.
He was leading a double life?
At the very least. He was an undercover agent for British intelligence infiltrating the Night Ravens. But his true identity was discovered 38 days ago, forcing him to fake his death and go into hiding. Continue program.
I've almost gathered enough, and then I'll be out from my... They're on to me.
Pause. He's referring to gathering enough information, not money, as previously postulated.
I should have known better than to think I could out-deduce you.
Not at all, Watson. Your deductions were soundly based on the evidence. Continue program.
Whatever you do, don't involve the police. I love you, Lois.
So, he didn't want to involve the police because he's a part of British intelligence?
Holmes! That was a burst message.
A what?
A message condensed into a sound burst that was beamed to a receiver across the street from the Sinclair home and then relayed to British intelligence. Computer, isolate the burst message and decode.
With my new identity, I've managed to frequent their outdoor meeting places undetected and have now compiled a member list. I'm ready to come in. Update. 2 Ravens have infiltrated the British intelligence as agents and have probably discovered my new identity. They may even try to intercept this message.
Lestrade, we must find Boo.
Yep. So he's a part of the British
now a
intelligence.
nosy panhandler. Prepared to forget everything you overheard. Permanently.
This looks painful.
Holmes, he was last seen headed toward the Crypnosis chamber with those British intelligence phonies.
We've no time to lose.
Don't worry, there's just a little jolt. Then you won't have a care in the world. Crank it up to full power.
Get him! This looks painful. They might not make it in time. Okay, good. They made it in time. Because that looked like it was going to be really painful. Oh no, he's got a
It's
captive.
over. Even you must realize escaping New Scotland Yard with a hostage is impossible.
But I have 4 hostages. Now, everyone turn around and move
4
slowly out the door.
Oh, including them. Nice! That British intelligence created, yo.
Now, Watson, sleep tight.
Nighty night. Nice shot of melatonin there.
Nice move for a panhandler.
Yes, but quite basic for a field agent.
Neville St. Clair, at your service.
British intelligence. Nice! I like this episode!
Working in conjunction with British intelligence, I am pleased to announce I have broken up the criminal organisation known as the Night Ravens.
Oh, give
Of
me
course
a break.
he's taking all the
Said to
credit,
do with
even
the
though he
busted new
did
zilch
nothing.
about British intelligence having Neville undercover. Ugh.
Which begs the question, Holmes, how did you know Neville was Boone?
Oh, the usual obvious clues, Watson. Neville's burst message mentioned a new identity that allowed him to frequent outdoor Raven meetings undetected.
Ah, and a commonly ignored panhandler would be the most likely disguise.
Then there were the physical clues. After locating the riverfront room where Neville had been in hiding, we found food in storage indicating a continuous occupant. A vanity with lights indicated the candle next to it must have been used for something other than illumination. An old theatre trick uses melted wax upon stretched skin to simulate a scar. And near the window were a panhandler's hastily left earnings, coated in stage makeup, suggesting he was a man in disguise, most likely Neville. And then there was Neville's blue coat. It yielded only one person's DNA during Beth's forensic scan. Neville's.
I see. By eliminating the possibility that someone else wore the coat...
The person wearing it must then be Neville St. Clair himself.
Da da da!
getting arrested as Boone was the only way I could get the attention of the real British intelligence without jeopardizing the mission.
But why return to the riverfront room?
To get his tin cup, Watson, which contained the hidden data disk that named the members of the Night Ravens.
So I naturally assumed you to be Raven operatives chasing after me. Sorry about that tow truck mishap, Dr. Watson.
Completely understandable.
One nice, carefree breakfast, as ordered.
The first of many, I hope, now that I'm retired from a life undercover.
New London's lost, Mr. St. Clair, but a find for your lovely wife.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes, for everything. Are you sure we can't convince you to stay for breakfast?
Very much appreciated, ma'am, but no, we must be going.
Ever the
I'm
gentleman.
overdue at a recital.
Interesting that they did whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, it was just starting over with the other one, with the same one again. Well, that was a nice little episode. I liked it. Oh, it was a good one. I appreciated that they were, like, working with British intelligence. I guess, kind of, sort of. Or at least British intelligence was already working on the case, and they just kind of joined up and was like, hey, we're working on this case too. Let's put our heads together and figure it out together. And just, you know, make it all work. So, it was a good one. I liked it. So I'm looking forward to the first episode of Season 2, which will happen next time. I don't know what it's called, because it just looped onto the last episode of Season 1, that being the one we just saw. So we'll see what we're in for in the second season of Sherlock Holmes next time. Till then, TTFN, ta-ta for now.